Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us, because today we are going to demystify something that honestly feels a bit like magic, but is actually an incredibly precise skill. You know when you read a book and you just literally cannot put it down, like a story where you can practically smell the rain, or feel the terror, or hear the roaring wind? Well, that doesn't happen by accident. That is the sheer power of words. So today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly how word choice and grammar create that massive impact. We're going to break down the mechanics of brilliant writing so you can completely understand it and, honestly, start using it yourself.
All right, let's jump right in. Consider this really simple statement. The bird flew. Okay, pretty basic, right? Now compare it to this. The golden eagle soared majestically across the endless sky. As I say those, I want you to truly feel the difference. Don't just process the information. Actually feel what happens in your imagination as that sentence expands.
So which sentence creates a stronger picture in your mind? Which one is actually going to stay in your memory? I'm willing to bet you chose the second one. Both sentences give us the exact same basic fact. A winged creature is moving through the air. But that second version, it transforms a boring fact into a full-blown cinematic experience. And it sticks with you because of a specific, repeatable secret that we're going to unlock right now.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. 1. What is writer's effect? 2. 4 ways to create impact. 3. The magic exam formula. 4. The 30-second challenge. And 5. Habits of great writers. Let's get to it.
Starting right at the foundation. Section 1. What exactly is writer's effect?
Basically, writer's effect is the feeling, the image, the mood, the reaction, or the thought that a writer successfully creates in the reader's mind. You see, truly great writers, they aren't just passing along information. Honestly, that's what encyclopedias do. A writer's real job, their absolute ultimate goal, is to make us feel something. They want to make us imagine a vibrant world, provoke a new thought, and ensure we remember the experience long after we close the page. The effect is the impact left on you, the reader.
To understand how they actually pull this off, we need our tools. Here's a super quick grammar basics checklist. To truly master the writer's effect, you've got to recognize the building blocks. We're talking nouns for naming, verbs for action, adjectives and adverbs for description, and figurative language. You know, things like similes, metaphors, and personification for painting pictures. Then, of course, clauses and sentences to structure the pacing. Now, don't worry, you absolutely do not have to be a grammar genius right now, but keeping these tools in mind is pretty essential before we get to the real magic.
Which brings us to Section 2. We're going to break down the mechanics of great writing into 4 distinct logical techniques.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the core action never actually changes. We have 3 versions. Version A, the river moved. Very basic. Version B, the river rushed. Okay, a little bit more energetic. And version C, the river thundered through the valley. By just swapping out the verb to thundered, you can practically hear the booming, violent roar of the water right now.
Let's break down exactly why that works. Take the word thundered. Its literal meaning is something loud, violent, and powerful. So what's the effect? It creates incredible excitement and intensity. Suddenly, that river feels dangerous and totally unstoppable. Tracking this pathway, from the word to its meaning to its effect, is exactly how you prove a writer's skill.
Okay, let's look at the second technique, adding details. Version A says, a boy walked into the room. Kind of boring, right? Now listen to version B. A nervous boy slowly walked into the silent room. Just imagine the quiet, cautious sound of those slow footsteps echoing. All of a sudden, it isn't just a sentence, it's a tense scene from a thriller. And we literally only added 3 specific words, nervous, slowly, and silent. The meaning behind those words points to fear, hesitation, and a heavy tension. And the effect? It completely alters your reaction. It creates massive suspense and deep curiosity. You are instantly asking yourself, why in the world is he nervous? What is waiting for him in that silent room? The writer has actively hooked your brain just by sprinkling in 3 descriptive words.
Moving on to our third technique, changing sentence order. The information here is completely identical. But in version A, the storm comes first. As the storm approached, the villagers closed their doors. By starting with the storm, the writer immediately hits you with the threat. You instantly feel the impending danger, almost hearing the crack of lightning before you even figure out who is actually in danger. Starting with a threat crafts an immediate sense of anticipation that version B completely misses.
And our fourth method is completely rewriting something to create a full experience.
You don't just state a fact, you paint a feeling. Version A. It was a dark night. Okay, fine. But compare that to version B. Darkness swallowed the village, and even the moon seemed afraid to appear. Wow. The writer didn't just tell us the lights were out, they turned the darkness into a living, breathing entity.
Let's unpack this masterpiece. We have the word swallowed and the phrase moon seemed afraid. The meaning here? Swallowed suggests an all-consuming darkness that's just taking over everything. And the moon being afraid, that is a brilliant use of personification, giving a literal rock in space human emotions. The overall effect actively crafts a frightening, mysterious, and super tense atmosphere. It makes the reader feel small and intimidated.
So how do we actually prove we understand all of this, say on a test or in an essay? That brings us to Section 3, the magic exam formula. This is your foolproof, step-by-step guide.
Here is the crucial point. When you are analyzing text, you can never ever just write, "It sounds good," or "It makes it interesting." That's going to get you 0 marks. Instead, you have to use this cascading formula. First, identify the specific word. Second, define its literal meaning or suggestion. Third, describe the visual image it paints in your mind. Fourth, identify the emotional feeling it evokes. And fifth, state the final effect on the reader's understanding of the scene. Word to meaning, to image, to feeling, to effect. It's a total chain reaction of analysis.
All right, time to put you in the driver's seat. Section 4 is our interactive 30-second challenge. I really want you to lean in and apply exactly what we've just been talking about.
The ancient gate groaned as it slowly opened. I want you to race the 30-second timer to analyze this. Identify the key words, think about what they mean, and figure out the effect. Go. Listen in your mind to that heavy, creaking sound of iron. Think about the adjective describing the gate. Think about the verb telling us how it made noise. Think about the adverb telling us the speed. Ask yourself, what is the writer making me feel right now? 5 seconds left. Lock in your answer.
And time's up. Let's see how you did. Here is the perfect sample answer. The adjective ancient suggests a meaning of age and mystery. The verb groaned acts as personification, suggesting a long, painful creaking sound. And the adverb slowly leads straight to our effect. It builds intense suspense and an incredibly eerie atmosphere. Put it all together, and the reader is left terrified, yet intensely curious about what lies beyond that gate. If you hit those points, you absolutely nailed it. Fantastic job on that. Now let's transition to our final section, the habits of great writers. How do we actually make identifying and creating these effects second nature? Honestly, it's all about a simple 5-minute daily challenge. First, just read one single paragraph every day. Second, take a pen and circle the really powerful intentional words. Third, ask yourself what those specific words suggest. And fourth, explain the effect out loud or jot it down in a notebook. This 5-minute routine will dramatically elevate your reading comprehension, and it'll completely transform your own personal writing. Because here is the ultimate truth. Great writers never sit down at a blank page and ask, "What should I write?" No way. They ask one very specific question. What do I want my reader to feel? They start with the destination, the experience, the emotion, the tension, and then they reverse engineer their word choice to guarantee that exact reaction. Let's bring it all together. Here is your final checklist. To master the writer's effect, you now have an entire arsenal at your disposal. You've got strong vocabulary to replace weak verbs. You've got figurative language to paint vivid pictures. You know exactly how to use expanded details and manipulate sentence order to control pacing and tension. You understand the value of completely rewriting a scene to prioritize the atmosphere. And above all, you have the magic cascading formula, meaning to image to feeling to effect. Which leaves us with this final, truly powerful thought. Don't just write, because writing, that's just putting ink on a page. Your new superpower is to create an effect, to manipulate language so masterfully that whoever reads your words feels exactly what you want them to feel. Take these tools, practice them daily, and make them your own. So the only question left for you is, what will you make your readers feel today?